Greetings, sacred souls, ancient beings. Welcome back again to a spiritual joint. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everyone is in peace in your world and things are moving the way you want. Just a little message here. The world situation has been extremely special these last few days, this last week or so, with the incident that occurred in the United States in Utah, I believe. And, it's got people up in arms in some places, literally, about this whole situation. It's got a lot of different facets to this situation as it relates to what's going on. The person who fell was not everyone's favorite. He was favorite to some, but to others, based on many of the things he said, he was not a favorite to them, to us, and that brought about certain reactions, we shall say, and the situation at hand. So regardless of where you may be on this, on weighing in on this situation, it just seems that it's, especially now, this is not the only thing. Several things are happening. Lots of things are happening that just seem to be attempting to cause more division, cause more people to be polarized on one side or the other, calling us to be more at odds. The majority of the people who are not in control of the way things go, not in control of the media, not in control of governments per se. We are the ones that are being subjected to this great push for division, this great push to keep us from coming together. Because if we were to come together, it would be a major difference in the way things are happening right now. It's like if the difference between, your hand has 5 fingers, and the difference between you taking your one finger and poking somebody in the shoulder versus you taking your fingers and bringing them together into one fist and punching somebody in the shoulder with that same fist. It's a whole nother reality. You've got the one separate finger versus the one combined fist, and that's where we are. We are acting like fingers, and they are really focusing on having us act like fingers. You're on Mr. Kirk's side, or you're not on Mr. Kirk's side. You're on Trump's side, or you're not on Trump's side. You're on Netanyahu's side, or you're not on Netanyahu's side. You're on the Palestinian side, or you're not on the Palestinian side. You're for Israel, or you're not for Israel. All of these things are working to divide us. I'm not taking light of any of the situations that are connected to those events, names, people, places that I mentioned. That's not giving anybody an excuse for doing anything that they may or may not be doing. But at the end of the day, we are being polarized more and more each day. Something comes up to keep us more and more polarized. We've got the situation with ICE, where they're removing people from the United States. We still have wars in Ukraine and Uganda and many other places that we probably don't even know. And we are being, it's like we're puppets on a string, because they pulled a string and, oh, I hate so-and-so, and so-and-so is this, and so-and-so is that, and so-and-so is this, that, and the other. Excuse me. But at the end of the day, if we're really being honest about what it is that we want, many of these things that are causing us to separate would fall away so easily. We don't, we're not thinking with, I don't know what you want to call it, but we're not using maybe critical thinking, something that has fallen by the wayside as far as what used to be taught in school, not thinking things through, just being so controlled by emotions, by design, of course, because you look at, Mr. Trump is imposing, enforcing, engaging, encouraging, creating all of these tariffs on items in an attempt, as he says, to make America great again, and in an attempt to bring industry back to America. But a lot of the industries, a lot of the businesses, the long-time businesses that have been the backbone, are looking to remove themselves from that country due to the fact that the tariffs are just ridiculous. How are people supposed to live? Why all of a sudden are we using these tariffs? Why are we taxing people so much for this, that, and the other? This trade thing is getting out of hand. So we're taxing people, governments, 2-3 times what they were being taxed before. And truthfully, taxes for what? What is it doing for us? What is it doing for the 5 fingers on the hand? The ones who are controlling the hands, the ones who are controlling what we see, what we hear, what we think, what we feel, are the ones who are in some ways manipulating the information that we get to their own end. Because at the end of the day, those people who eat certain things, that the prices have gone up to ridiculous amounts at this time. The people who are creating these tariffs and these things, they are not suffering, so to speak, because they have the means to buy these items. They have the means to go places to get these items, or whatever it is that they're doing. So they're not suffering the way other people are suffering, losing jobs. This AI thing is getting out of hand. It has its benefits, but are we really using it for our benefit? Are we really using it to help ourselves and to help each other to get to another level? Because if we're not, then what's the point? And then if you think about, many people don't know, but AI costs a lot of money to create, to do the things that it does. It's using up a lot of our resources, and they're investing in looking into ways to get more resources to make sure that they are able to fund this AI thing. And everybody and their mother is creating one. You've got this one and that one and this one and that one, and you've got the stupid ads on YouTube. Oh, people over 40 only know how to use ChatGPT and cut and paste, but all of this is stuff that's coming across to keep us apart. Who says that 40 people over 40 are doing this? How do you know? How are you able to get the stats for this? And then people are thinking, oh my God, I've got to do this because they said this, they said that, they said this, they said that. But are we looking at what it is that we need for ourselves, what it is we need for our own safety, for our own peace of mind, for our own security, as opposed to worrying about what so-and-so celebrity is doing? Because at the end of the day, regardless of what we think these celebrities are doing, the vast majority of us have no idea who these people are in real life. They might do things and we say them, and they do this humanitarian thing or that humanitarian thing, but we don't know them. But we are so vested in, oh my God, and she said, and oh my God, and he did, and did. But that energy that you're spending, that energy that you are investing, that time that you're scrolling, could it not be better spent doing something else? This world that we live in right now, it's just so fast, and gotta have it now. And you go to events, you go out, you go, and nobody talks. Everybody's caught up in their phone and worried about likes and worried about the next trend. Women putting on their high heel shoes and balancing on the top of a barbell, or on the top of the end of a banister, or on top of some apparatus, some structure that is or can be dangerous. And for what? Why are we doing this? And what difference does it make? I don't know, what difference does it make? I just think it's just insanity. People are getting hurt. I believe this last one, the woman went to the hospital and she was either paralyzed or very severely injured from attempting to do this challenge because some celebrity did it in their video, and where you've got to do it because she did it. But why? Why are we doing these things? Why are we subjecting ourselves to these things? But at the end of the day, right now, at this time, at this moment, we have a great opportunity to make change. But we have to come together and stop being manipulated, tricked, bamboozled into being caught up in all of this stuff that in reality is going to do nothing for us. If we would come together. Or there's a story about there was I think it was a village, and they didn't have food, or it was very tough times, and so this woman decided she was going to make soup or something along those lines. So she didn't know what to put in it, so she started boiling her pot, and all she had, so she put a rock in there, and so she's boiling the rock, and somebody walked past, and they had a carrot, and somebody had a potato, and somebody had a pepper, and they put all these things together. And at the end of the day, because everybody contributed, everybody was able to partake, and it created an environment wherein people realize that it is more beneficial for us to come together than for us to be apart. So at this time, just offering up, it's time for us to come together and stop being apart. It's too much in scripture. Several scriptures, mentions that, and one will set 100 to flight, but the actual reality is that once you start coming together, the effect raises exponentially. So if just 1,000,000 of us, 100,000 of us could come together on the same frequency, on the same vibe, the energy would make a change. It's been documented. People say, all that woo stuff, but everything is not woo. We think it's woo, but there have been studies that have tested, that have shown the power of coming together. How was it one story? The people, their city was plagued with violence, and everybody would come together and they would pray for an end to the violence. And I think in a few weeks, they turned it around, and their crime rate dropped tremendously, with nothing else tested, nothing else checked, other than the fact that they were praying for a change, praying for an end to that. So if we could come together and pray, meditate, whatever you want to call it, but focus on bringing an end to this stuff that is going on, bringing an end to these people. I'm not saying that kind of end, but an end to the regime of this manipulation, this lying, this divide and conquer concept, which has been so prevalent throughout the world to keep us separate. There was the Willie Lynch paper, whether it is true or not, just the fact that they thought about it, that they separated us, people of color, based on so many different variables, such as height, weight, skin color, hair color, eye color, who's in the field, who's in the house, and and it caused so much tension and problems because we started believing it. We started falling into all the people with the purple hair, they blah blah blah. All the people with the polka dot eyes, they blah blah blah. Instead of, okay, they got polka dot eyes, so what? As long as it's not hurting you, what difference does it make? We need to come together. We need to come together now. We need to come together now. So that's all I wanted to come on here and say. Sending love, light, and peace.